time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donnelly Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, everyone. We're here every Saturday at 1 o'clock on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Susan, and I'm here with Randy Donnelly. We are the owners of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois. We're just 60 miles west of Chicago, and we're here again today to talk about items you might have at home that you might want to sell at auction, because we're going to tell you whether or not they are valuable. Happy New Year, Randy Donnelly.
Well, thank you, Susan.
It's been a whole week.
Yes, and Happy New Year to all you out there. Yes, it is a week, isn't it?
It's been a week already. And just wanted to know how you're doing on your New Year's resolutions. Oh, you want to talk about those?
Well, I really didn't make any, quite frankly.
But we have goals, which is going to be a little bit about what this radio show is about today, the goals at Donnelly Auctions.
Sure. Well, one thing I think I need to get out on the road and travel more. So there's so many people calling with collections out of state. And so I just need to be on the road more than I am.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be free.
Yes, you will.
Free to go out dancing some more. But some of the things we want to talk about today is a recap of 2023 and some of the industry trends we're seeing in the auction world. Tell us a little bit about what you have discovered this year.
Well, Susan, what I've been preaching all last year is that what we know about antique collecting in general is that it was a generational thing. And the people who really collected big collections of any one item, whether it be glassware or, things we collect like slot machines, jukeboxes, and this type of thing. All these people collected when they were, say, 30 years old, 40 years old, 50. That's when they really hit their stride in collecting. But that whole generation now is 80, 90, or even passed away. And what we're not finding, Susan, is that next generation of 20 and 30-year-olds collecting the same items. So even though, yes, there are collectors, they're not collecting what Dad or Mom collected years ago because, frankly, it doesn't relate to their everyday life.
It's not their passion.
That's right.
It's not their passion, even though it could have been Mom or Dad's. Some people still they've passed it on, but I would say most of them have not. Like, for example, my kids, they have no interest in collecting right now.
But here's what I, again, was constantly saying last year, and I'm going to start with it all over again this year. I used my family as kind of a benchmark in collecting as we know it, and that is, I'm already 69 years old. My father's 93?
Yeah.
And I remember when he was a collector and I was a kid, my father was, in his 30s, 40s, as a big-time collector. And he collected stuff that he liked from 1910, 1920. And to me, that seemed like so old. Oh, my God, it's, really ancient history. When, in fact, in the 1960s, that stuff was only 40, 50 years old. So if we use that same time frame today and said 40, 50 years old, we're looking at 1980, 1970.
That's so scary, isn't it?
Yeah. So to just keep it on the same level, if people were the same type of collectors as my father years ago, they're collecting totally different. They're not collecting antique phonographs and slot machines and the type of things that Larry Donnelly collected. They're collecting Nintendo games or even furniture. They don't want Eastlake furniture from the 1860s, 1870s, or stuff from the 1890s. It's not what they're into. What they're collecting, again, is stuff from the 70s and 80s that they kind of remember, in their parents' homes or Aunt Mabel's house or something, which is what we refer today as mid-century modern. So the collectors collect differently.
That's right. And my kids are more interested in like Pioneer turntables than they are in phonographs because they are liking the vinyl albums that are out now. So
right.
all of that has come around full circle. That stuff that I had as a kid, my kids are looking at as
exactly.
antique.
You know, a Marantz turntable as opposed to a hand crank Victrola.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, vinyl records versus cylinder records.
Yes. Yeah.
So the time has changed for sure in collecting and the age of people that are collecting nowadays.
Right. Now, investment-wise, what does that tell us about all the people that have these big collections out there? Well, there's still a market. There's still a market. It's not as robust as it was 10, 20 years ago by any means, but there are still buyers. You know, a lot of these old-timers, there's still a lot of our buyers. I'm looking around at our auctions, and it's all white hair out in the audience or out in the crowd. And these people are mid to late 70s, early 80s, and still buying.
Yes.
So there's still buyers out there for, you know, what.
And not just the people in the audience, but all over the world.
All over the
we
world.
have buyers from the United States, you know, Japan, China.
And that's what we specialize in, is all over the world. That's what Donnelly Auctions can do for you folks. We get it online for you. If you've got collections that you want to sell, now truly is the time. I don't see a reversal in antique collecting, Susan, where the old stuff, the stuff that's been collected up in these big collections, the prices are dropping because of supply and demand. There's too much supply out there and not enough demand. So, of course, you know, it's an equal balance. I mean, prices continue to slip on most of these items. So 2024 should be your year to really make a resolution to get something done with your collection.
And all you have to do is make a phone call. Pick up the phone and call us at 815-923-7000 if you want to talk to one of us on the phone, or just email us and we'll get your information to one of our content experts who can tell you what you have, what the value is, and determine next steps.
Right. And being the beginning of the year, now is when we're really waiting for your phone calls, folks. We need to know what we're selling this year. I mean,
yeah, because April is our big spring classic. That's right around the corner.
And we are already taking consignments for that. I mean, just Thursday of this week, we pulled in a 1921 Cadillac, a totally restored Cadillac sedan. Gorgeous car.
That's for the spring classic.
And that's for April.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the one where we have all of the best of the best coin-op items, cars, motorcycles, boats.
Architecture, bars, back bars, all kinds of goodies, always in April.
Yeah, antique music. Great stuff.
You know, but Susan, here we are in January, and we actually have a similar auction coming up. What's the date of our January auction?
Our November Classic Part 2 is Antiques and Cars, Saturday and Sunday, January 20th and 21st. And you know what? That was just kind of an overflow of those great items we had in November that came in a little bit too late that we're going to put in January. So check that out. I'm working on it this week. It's going to go online hopefully by Monday, if not already.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of these things already advertised, folks, like, you know, the two Model A's that we've got. You know, you can already see these in Hemmings Motor News and some of the more popular trade magazines and everything.
I love this Chevy truck. That's a cutie,
the 1954 Chevy. I believe that's a Volo Auto Museum restoration on this vehicle.
One of my favorite items coming up in this auction is the very first item. It's a stock ticker. What can you tell us about the value of stock tickers now?
Oh, my gosh. Stock tickers are still
item.
crazy good money. And people say, well, why would anybody have a stock ticker of all things? Because they were made, you know, commercially to be used on the stock market and so on. So it's not like every store had one, like advertising pieces or anything. They were a very, very limited item. However, the way all these stock tickers got back in the collecting world is that when so many stockbrokers retired, this was at that time old technology. So stock brokerage firms and everything actually handed these out to stockbrokers as they retired, these ticker tape machines, and gave them as prizes and parting gifts and awards and everything. So most of these items did not get scrapped or just garbaged out. They were highly prized. They were expensive pieces of technology when they were new. But, back at the turn of the century on into the 50s, they were still using ticker tape machines, and they were given away.
Wow. Well, that item's coming up in our January 20th auction. So go online at DonnellyAuctions.com to see that auction and many others coming up. We're going to be talking about our firearms auction coming up in February with Neil, our gun expert. I hope he's going to be talking about some of these new laws that go into effect January 1st. Neil's our gun guy. He'll be able to give us some information on that. Again, give us a call at 815-923-7000. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, here with my partner, Randy Donnelly. And I just wanted to touch base real quick, Randy, that we have an auction going on right now as we speak, Saturday, January 6th. We have a fantastic
it's going on
military
right now.
auction.
It is right. We're about 3 hours in right now. And
started at 10.
We've got about 3 hours to go. So if you do want to see what we're doing right now, we're
Head on
live.
out to Union. They'll be there in time for lunch.
Well, but you can go online, too, and you can actually watch. As a matter of fact, I'll be at the podium auctioning in just a few minutes. So as soon as this show is over, I'll be back at the...
But some great military items, helmets, uniforms, daggers, swords, all kinds of great stuff, as well as Old West items and Native American items. So check out our website at DonnellyAuctions.com if you want to look at it, or just come on out to Union.
Right. Now, that auction's going on right now, and people say to me all the time, oh, Randy, I missed the auction. I wanted to get this in the auction. I wanted to get that in the auction. But, what our auction company keeps repeating the same type of merchandise because it's what we specialize in. We just keep having more and more auctions. So when you see an auction, doesn't mean that's the last one of the year, because we have another one coming up right in February.
Our next firearm and military auction is Saturday and Sunday, February 17th and 18th, folks. So mark your calendars for that. It'll be online soon.
And I will say that is so close that now is when you need to call.
There's still time. Yeah.
Yep. If you've got items, any military relics, uniforms, helmets, swords, daggers, and firearms.
Firearms, ammunition, reloading gear,
and then,
cleaning kits, gun cases.
I mentioned the big Geibel collection that we've got coming up.
Oh, that's another one coming up in March. March 16th is the Geibel Ordnance Auction. We have over 900 items coming up March 16th.
Now, these are all items, folks, that are, of course,
from
legal.
One man's collection. Yeah, everything's inert.
Right. Inert is the correct word to be using. These are all checked out by the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, that they are all 100% legal and empty. I mean, they're hand grenades and ordnance.
Fuses and this grenade launcher. That's a great piece.
I mean, it's
great
such
stuff.
a wild collection. It's one of the best collections in the nation. Donnelly Auctions is very proud to be the one who got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And one man's entire collection.
Right.
Can't wait for that. So speaking of our February auction, we have on the phone with us today our firearm expert, Neil. Hi, Neil. Thanks for joining the show today. I'd like you to
Hi, guys.
talk.
How are you?
We're great. Thanks for coming on again. I love your radio voice for sure. We want to talk about what we're looking for February and firearms in general. And I'm just curious if I can ask if there's any new laws or rules that went into effect with the ATF January 1st that you can tell us about.
If I could jump in there, Susan, before you answer that, Neil, and that is this. There are new laws, Susan.
There are, yes.
In the state of Illinois. And they're very complex, confusing, and it's not the type of thing we can get into on the air right now. But I can tell you this: we can still help you sell your firearms. Wouldn't you say, Neil? That's about the best way for us to. We're still the source. If you have firearms that you would like to sell, we're still the guys. The group. Sorry, Susan. I know you're not one of the guys. But we're still the group that can sell it for you. Donley Auctions is how you want to sell your firearms, and you will know that by turning your firearms over to us and for sale, you have complied with every state and federal law required, because that's what we're going to do for you.
That's right. So Neil's main job is to make sure we toe the line with the ATF.
Yeah. So, Neil, do you have anything to add to that?
The only thing that there's a list of naughty guns here in Illinois, and there was a registration as of January 1st. Everything needs to be registered. So,
but we can still sell these guns for them, correct?
We can sell them because we sell most of our guns out of state. So there's not an issue for us.
Okay. So there you go, folks. And, I know you refer to these as naughty guns. People call them assault weapons. And this makes me so mad all the time that these guns over the years have, gotten the bad rap of being called assault weapons, when in fact all they are is modern technology. I mean, back in the days of the Revolutionary War, you would have called an old flintlock rifle apparently an assault weapon because it was state of the art at the time. And, and as things change, to call these guns assault weapons is just a scare tactic for people that want to change gun laws, because it's simply modern technology. They, in my opinion, never should have been referred to as assault weapons, but here we are. 2024, and now we've got our next auction coming up. When, Susan?
February 17th and 18th. Tell us about the auction coming up, Neil.
We've been getting just a ton of great guns coming in. I've got something for everybody. From Western guns, I've got an old 1873 Winchester in .44. I've got military guns, the C96 broom handles, the S42 Lugers, M1 Garands. Hunters, I've got a beautiful Ruger Red Label 20 gauge right now. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's like new. There's a certain gun that we got in. It's a Savage 99 Takedown. It comes with two barrels, and it's so unusual and rare to find a second barrel for these things.
Wow.
And this one's got one already with it. It's fantastic.
Any more pythons in this auction coming up?
That was my next line. I've got another ton of pythons that came in.
Susan and snake guns. I don't know about you, kiddo.
She just took the air out of my sails.
Christmas list. Go ahead, tell us about it.
I've got a great little nickel one for you. Absolutely. 22 guys. I've got a great Weathery On-Shoots, which is a great little target gun, like brand new.
Neil, I hate to interrupt, but man, I did see some fabulous target rifles coming in the last couple of weeks. What is with that? Why are we seeing so much great target stuff? Or is it just one of those things that who knows what's coming in from one day to the next? Yeah,
they come in waves. I did have one customer that had about 4 or 5 of them, heavy barreled, fluted barreled target rifles, and he's done shooting. So
now, one thing I want to bring up, somebody said to me the other day, I've got guns, but it's probably too big a collection for you to handle. And I said, well, geez, how many guns is it? I'm thinking he's going to say 1,000 guns or something. He says, I've got almost 100. Well, 100 guns, folks, is pretty much, I would
what
say,
we normally do.
An average collection, yeah.
Happy to take them.
We get into homes all the time that are 30, 40 guns, 100 guns. So it doesn't matter the size of collection. We can help you out. I mean, whether it's 1 gun, 5 guns, or 100 guns, or 400 guns, we can take care of this for you and get everything sold legally.
We're just working with the gentleman that had about 500 or 600 guns, and we've been working through them over the last several months. we can absolutely handle them.
Well,
Absolutely.
and I want to applaud you, Neil, for the way you've been handling that collection, because since they were all so similar, I mean, he collected variations of the same gun. You elected not to put them all in one auction, to maximize his money and sell them in multiple auctions, which I know he told me he was very happy to do, because he actually liked the money flow coming in.
Right.
Whereas very often, many people say, no, I want it all sold. I want one big check.
Unfortunately, that big check won't be as big as it can be. So we can definitely make that much bigger.
Yes,
right.
yes.
So bottom line here, now's the time to sell. Does anybody have any firearms out there you'd like to put up for auction? Give us a call at 815-923-7000. Better yet, send us an email, because I will get that in the hands of Neil, our firearm expert, immediately, and he'll call you. And Neil, you love talking to our customers, I know.
I do.
Getting to know them, and even going to their homes and making sure everybody feels safe and secure about our integrity here.
Good point, Susan. I just want to remind everybody, yes, we will come out and pick up your collections.
That's right. So don't forget to call us at 815-923-7000. Ask for Neil. Neil, thanks for joining the show. Don't forget, his next big auction is February 17th and 18th. You can email us at consign at DonleyAuctions.com. I forgot to mention that. Consign at DonleyAuctions.com. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, and here with Randy Donley. We're with Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois. Randy wants to talk about Petroliana, cars, and our upcoming auctions, and some items you're looking for that hopefully people will want to consign here soon in the next couple of months, because we have our January 20th auction coming up, Antiques and Cars. We've got a lot of cars in that auction.
Well, Susan, you said earlier, hey, what's new for 2024? Mm-hmm. And I mean, what's new is old, really. I mean, our job is to keep talking about old items. So, yes, in 2024, it's more of the same. The items that are most popular to sell right now, that are going to bring truly the most money, in my opinion, are always going to be what we're selling next, which is firearms and military. But, boy, anything in what we refer to as Petroliana is just red hot. I mean, we're still selling, of course, cars. I mentioned we just got in this beautiful 21 Cadillac sedan, totally restored, that's going to be in our April auction.
Well, what I like is that there's a 2003 SL55 convertible Mercedes Roadster. That's also coming up. So even though you talk about old, that 2003 car is fairly new.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because
only has 28,000 miles on it.
We keep talking about old and vintage and antique when collector cars don't have to be that old at all. I mean, expensive automobiles have remained, they have remained popular in all trends. And yes, some of these are early Mercedes. And I mean, my goodness, you get into a Porsche and some of these other brands.
A 97 Jaguar XK8 convertible also. Wow.
Yeah, there's actually two Jaguars coming up in this particular auction. So
January 20th is the date for the cars. And then we have some motorcycles. We have some Harleys. Spring is right around the corner, so now's the time to buy your motorcycles, folks.
That it is. But for upcoming auctions, we've got our April auction that we're already collecting up for. Just as Neil and I said in the last segment, it's never too late. You don't just miss an auction. You just go right into the next one. So April 19th through the 21st is our next big push for Petroliana. And I'm telling you, folks, whether it's cars or motorcycles, which, so many of you have a vintage car that, may or may not be restored. We don't only go after restored automobiles. I mean, we'll take them in any condition because they all sell. But, just yesterday I picked up a gas pump, a nice mobile oil gas pump, and that pump is still, even though the prices are suppressed a little bit on some of these things, that gas pump's still going to go over $2,500.
Is that from the 30s?
No, probably from the 50s.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's gas pumps. I mean, there are gas pumps out there, folks, that'll hit $25,000 easy. So, we need to know what you have. So sometimes you're hearing the price a couple $1,000s, and you go, that's not such a big deal. I've got a rarer pump. Well, of course. And if you do, it will bring more money, and we will be happy to give you free estimates on what you have. All we need is pictures sent to us.
Right. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get those phone calls, Randy's usually getting the truck warmed up, heading out. Okay, we're on our way.
I used every excuse I can to be on the road.
I
know
how you are.
Yep.
That's your specialty.
It is. And I like to get out there and see what you have, because you never know what else.
And to get to know our clients, because you never know if they might even have some property for sale, which is we'll be talking about with Shauna on our next segment. But,
I was into a home, and actually I was there purchasing, because, of course, as we said in our last show, we do buy also. And we're happy to buy. But I was in purchasing a jukebox out of a basement. And as I'm taking the jukebox out from the basement through the garage, what's hanging on the wall but a beautiful porcelain sign that I ended up buying also. And I'm telling you, folks, porcelain signs, especially gas and oil stuff, is huge, huge money. There's just so much money in signage that you need to call us, send us photos, and we can...
And really in any condition, too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I don't think it has to be in pristine condition in order to be valuable.
And, people laugh about me asking for gas pumps. Like, who's going to have a gas pump?
Well, they do,
at their house?
Outside. I see them all the time at people's
I was just at
yards.
A home in Chicago, and they had 8 gas pumps in their home.
Inside?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Restored, beautiful gas pumps. They're works of art. But right in Chicago, in their home, 8 gas pumps.
I'll be darned.
So call us if you have gas pumps, signs, motorcycles, and don't forget license plates. Big money in license plates.
We have a license plate auction coming up in April, end of April.
And remember, we did get over $30,000 for just one single license plate.
I can't wait to hear what everybody has. So give us a call at 815-923-7000 if you just want to talk. Send us an email at consign@DonleyAuctions.com. We will put you in touch with the right person who can talk to you about your items. And, we'll give you an honest opinion of what it's worth, and then you can decide from there. But, folks, pick up the phone, send us an email. You got to start somewhere, right, Randy?
Yes, you do.
We'll be talking to Shauna next about the Donnelly Group and see what's new in her world coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
And now, more of the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donnelly Auctions Hour. Thanks for sticking with us during that break. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, here with Randy Donnelly. And on the phone today with us is Shauna Donnelly, who is heading up the Donnelly Group. Good morning, Shauna.
Hey, Shauna.
Good morning.
Hi, thanks for joining us, Shauna. Now that the holidays are over, what advice do you have for all of us going into the new year?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Susan, because now that the holidays are over, we are going to start seeing more and more inventory coming onto the market. So I'd like to let everybody know what I can do with the Donnelly Group to help your home stand out. But first, let me tell you what the Donnelly Group is. We are a group of realtors servicing Northern Illinois, and we work with App Properties Christie's International. So we are a worldwide real estate brokerage, and we have partners in all 50 states. So let me tell you what we can do about getting your house to stand out on the market among all these new listings that are coming out.
Okay, let's hear it.
Of course. Thank you. Well, we start with online virtual walkthroughs and tours. We enhance visual media, including professional photos, floor plans, virtual staging. We have upgraded placements on search sites, which means your listing is going to be above other listings that might be similar in price, in size, in location, and also might be even newer than yours. But we do enhance all of those things. We have partnerships with lenders, attorneys, professional tradesmen, and we can even assist in contractor coordination. Let's say your house needs a fresh coat of paint or some new carpeting. That doesn't mean that every house is going to need that, or even if it does, you don't have to do it. But if we choose that that's the right plan moving forward, we can assist with all of those things.
Well, Shauna, I love to point out all the time that the way that you got involved with us with the Donnelly Group to be selling real estate is that so many times we were going into homes because people had a house listed and with a other broker, and people would call us to get rid of the contents because a broker might be saying, "Hey, we've got to get all this stuff out of the house in order to sell it and everything." And when talking to you, you, of course, said to me, well, wait a minute, as long as we are working with the families to dispose of all their antiques out of their house, why are we not also selling the real estate? And it's become just a wonderful partnership. People say to me all the time, I love the fact that Donnelly's is a one-stop shop. We call for, liquidating an antiques collection, but they do it all. They take us all the way through the whole real estate transaction, the sale of our property and everything. And frankly, they love working with you, Shauna. I hear compliments all the time.
Well, thank you so much. And I love working with all of our clients. And just like you mentioned, we can be a one-stop shop for you, but that doesn't mean that we're auctioning your property. Sometimes that's the best route to go, but more often than not, it's better to put your home on the public or even the private network, and then we bring in offers from all over the place.
I'm so glad you pointed that out because our name, Donnelly Auctions, would lead people to believe that we're auctioning the property. And in fact, we rarely auction property. That sometimes is a desperate act when you can't sell a property and it needs to go in a certain time and it's kind of the last draw. When in fact, you have been selling property for higher than asking prices.
That's true. Not in every circumstance, but in most circumstances, what we're doing is working with our sellers to create the right plan, and not just for marketing or a date for closing, but how do we list the property? Where do we price it? And that really is dictating so much. And we are getting our sellers more than they had anticipated by pricing it correctly. We want to make a splash in the market. We don't want to be chasing the market by lowering the price every month.
Yeah. Again, Sean, I'm very proud of you representing the Donnellys with the group. Tell me a little bit more about the company itself. It's am I correct? It's At Properties and Christie's.
Yep, that's correct. And like I said, we have partners in all 50 states, and we are worldwide. And right now, our numbers that are in for 2022 and 2023 are still saying that At Properties is number one in Chicago and the Chicagoland area. I am so proud to be working with this wonderful company. They offer not only their agents so much, but it lets the agents offer our clients, both buyers and sellers, so many tools to be able to really get you the top dollar for your listing.
Well, Sean, I know there's people out there who are making some New Year's resolutions and goals to liquidate, minimalize, move, do all that great stuff. Now's the time, folks, to consign. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. And to get a hold of Shauna, tell us how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. Please go to our website, DonnellyAuctions.com, and you can click on the real estate tab on the top. My information's right on there. It links you to my direct website, my cell phone, my email. You can reach me at all times of the day and any form of contact.
Wonderful. Thank you, Shauna, so much for that information. Any last words?
Well, just that, if you're making that New Year's resolution to get your property on the market or to relocate or invest, give us a call because we have all the tips and tricks to help you.
Wonderful. And again, like I said, we take not only large collections, but single items, high-quality antiques, vintage items, Donnelly Auctions. We do it all. And why? Because we want to make it fit into your wallet. Right, Randy?
That's right.
Let's clean up this year, folks. Make 2024 your year. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. And Randy, what are you talking about in our next segment? We don't want to leave yet.
Well, I want to just continue talking about more items that we're we're looking for.
Things that are of value. I think people need to know they might have some of these items in their home that are of value because now is the time to put them in auction. Shauna, thank you for joining the show. We'll see you again soon. And don't go anywhere, folks. You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour right here every Saturday at 1 o'clock on AM 560, The Answer.
The Donnelly Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560, The Answer.
We are back with the Donnelly Auctions Hour. This is our first show in 2024, Randy. We had such a great New Year's Eve. We didn't even mention it.
Wow.
We had such a great New Year's Eve, and we spent it at the Arcata Theater in St. Charles. Just a quick shout out to our friend and client, Ron Onesti. If you haven't been to an event at the Arcata Theater or the Speakeasy, go online and book your reservation. It was 3 events in one place.
You know, you hit it right on the head. There was so much going on at the Arcata. Thank you, Ron Onesti, for putting all this entertainment together. It was such a wide variety of entertainment going on.
Great.
Three venues in one.
And you know what? We had the best dinner out of all my friends. They all went out and had all these fancy dinners. We had the best pizza in the Rockin' Za. I think we out-ordered all of them for sure. But it also gave us a chance to sit and talk about our goals for 2024. So, thank you, Ron, for providing such a great venue for us. We'll see you probably in a couple weeks again. But real quick, we want to touch base one more time on some of the auctions we have coming up because now's the time, folks, to sell your items.
Susan, I just mentioned in the last segment that we've sold a single license plate for over $30,000.
You did mention that, yes.
And here we get a consignment from a gentleman who saw that price, and he comes up with license plate number 1 for the City of St. Louis, 1911, a porcelain license plate. Again, this is going to make some pretty serious money. So watch this license plate, folks, and see what it goes for.
When is this one coming up? April?
I don't know.
April 28th.
In April 28th. Okay.
It's after our Spring Classic because the Spring Classic is the 19th through the 21st. Yeah. Then we'll do the license plate auction.
And before that, you have to go to our website because we've got a lot going on. We have an antique toy auction coming up March 23rd and 24th. If you've got toys, a single item or an entire collection, let us know now because this toy auction is really going to be well-rounded. I mean, we have great cast iron, tin toys, toy trains, dolls.
Any robots? I know robots sell really well.
We do have some robots.
I saw some.
Yes,
robots are good toys.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of space toys.
Trains.
Yeah. And the beauty of this is every price range. If you're a buyer and you would just like to buy some gifts, I mean, we've got over 100 dolls brand new in the box. They've never even been taken out of the box. Collector dolls.
Those are coming up too, March 23rd and 24th. So all of that will be on our website at DonnellyAuctions.com. You can bid right online. Once this catalog gets online, you can bid from home, right? You can come out to Union and bid live with us. There's no admission charge. You just come on in. And you can also submit absentee bids or a phone bid.
Phone bids, yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to bid in an auction, and that's for those of you buying. For those of you selling, again, send us an email at consign@DonnellyAuctions.com with some photos, and I'll put you in touch with the right person.
And make your New Year's resolution. Come on, make 2024 the year to get your collection liquidated. I mean, you've so many people sitting paralyzed, can't get started. All you have to do is make one phone call to get this whole process started, and we'll make your whole collection
fit in your wallet. It doesn't hurt to just ask a question. Yeah, ask, or you're never going to know. And, Randy, our New Year's resolutions, lose a few pounds, right? We're already doing
coming up.
I'm doing dry January. You don't drink it all anyway. But so we got some goals, not only personal, but professional goals as well, and we'd like you to be part of that. So thanks for listening. We've got another great show coming up next week. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donnelly, and we'll see you at the auction.
Thanks for listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonnellyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonnellyAuctions.com.